Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sydney. I film cruelty-free beauty videos all about shopping your stash, making thoughtful purchases, and really just loving on the collection that you already have. Today's video is actually going to be about new makeup. I have been on a no-buy. Well, I was on a no-buy for a good chunk of last year, and I'm on an unofficial no-buy at this point, so it's been kind of a while since I've talked about new makeup on my channel. But I did do a Will I Buy It-esque series for a good chunk of last year, but then I had to stop once I had to go back to school. You know, life kind of somewhat resumed. But I did kind of want to bring that back to my channel in a way in 2021. I first thought about just going back to the Will I Buy It, but maybe just doing them every other week instead of every single week. But then I had another idea that I thought might be fun. So we're going to try it today. So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to share 10 new releases, 5 that I think are the best of the month and 5 that I think are the worst of the month. And I'm just going to share them with you guys. We're going to chat about them back and forth. I would love it if you guys gave me feedback on each of the releases, whether you thought they were the best or worst, whether you picked them up, what you've seen reviews on about them, what have they been saying, are they good products, are they bad products, am I just like making snap judgments about these, because I'm not purchasing any of these, unofficial no buy and all. But I thought it would be fun to just come on camera and chat about it. So without further ado, let's hop into it. If you guys hear some like construction-y noises outside, it's just the snow plows. Where I live, we got like 4 or 5 inches of snow today, so they're trying to clear us a path to get out. Alright, so first up, for one of the worst releases, I grabbed the Tammy to Nuka palette, the newest Tammy to Nuka palette. I don't know, does this one have a name? Okay, so I'm pretty sure this palette is called the Pacified Earth Dragon. I have been really interested in trying this brand for a very long time. They release the most incredible, beautiful pigments, but I don't use my pigments. As sad as it is, I have so many. I just don't feel like that would be the best purchase and add the most value to my collection, so I haven't purchased anything from them yet. But the past couple months, they've been releasing palettes, and I've been very, very interested. I just feel like this one is such a miss because these palettes are so light in tone. I feel like even I would struggle to create a look with any sort of depth with these colors, so anyone with a deeper skin tone probably wouldn't even be able to use these. So for that reason, I really just do not like this release. I think the color story is like, okay, it's cute, it's kind of springy, but I really wish if they were going to release this kind of color story, maybe they could have done like a lighter and a deeper option, like Sydney Grace does with all of their palettes. But I don't know, I just was not a big fan of this one, and I thought they really could do better because I've been really impressed with the color stories of the palettes they've done at the past 2 launches. I think they've done 2 or 3 other small palettes like this. Amy Loves Makeup did a video on 2 of them, I think. So if you guys are looking for more information about kind of the shadow formula and the brand as a whole, definitely go check out her channel. I'll link it down below. Okay guys, next up we have a launch from Dragon Beauty. And this is the Fantasy Eyeshadow Palette. There's a couple of other products in this launch that I just couldn't even focus on because I couldn't get past this palette. This is a little 5 sum of shadows. I feel like in my head I can see what kind of look this palette could create, and it's just not cute. I don't know how this is a cohesive or like usable color story. And honestly, I'm just not a big fan of Dragon Beauty to begin with, so this wasn't even on my purchasing radar. I just looked at it and I was like, what kind of thought went into that palette? I just don't understand the thought process. I don't follow Nikita Dragon, so maybe that's her like style of makeup look, but if you guys have other thoughts on this palette, definitely leave them for me down below. And please don't take it personally if I hate something that you love. It's just makeup, it's not that deep. But yeah, I don't know what to say other than what was the thought behind this palette? What was the thought process? Alright you guys, surprise, surprise, we have a Colourpop launch in here. This is the Melrose collection. The packaging on this entire collection is stunning. Colourpop always does such a great job with their packaging. Their graphic designer deserves a hefty raise. But the actual collection itself, it's like every single spring and summer launch we saw. Once again, it's just being barfed. And at this point, it's been a very long time. Okay, it hasn't been that long. But before I purchased the Raw Beauty Christy collab from Colourpop, it's been a very long time since I've bought stuff from Colourpop. And I don't know, they're just really not giving me a reason to go back to them other than sometimes they collab with people that I really love. I just feel like at the beginning of Colourpop, they were super affordable, and I was more into neutrals at the time, but I feel like there was more thought put behind their releases, and now I feel like they're just turning out crap just to get it out there. I don't know, you guys. I just really do not like this palette. I think it's boring. I think it's been done. and I really would love to see Colourpop create something original again. Okay, another Colourpop release. This is the Animal Crossing collaboration. I was so excited when I saw that Colourpop was going to do an Animal Crossing collaboration. I know everyone got into Animal Crossing during quarantine. I didn't get my Switch until after quarantine, but I have been playing it like nonstop for like 6 months. It's so like calming and grounding. I love to play before bed. It like knocks me right out. But this palette was such a huge letdown, and part of me feels like maybe they created the products the way that they did to appeal to a younger demographic. I guess we should talk about which products they included. There are 4 quads in here, 2 blushes, like some chubby lip crayons, and it looks like some Glitterly Obsessed and a Super Shock shadow. Let's first talk about the quads, because I was kind of excited to see what they were going to create as far as an eyeshadow palette, because of course there was going to be an eyeshadow palette. There's eyeshadow palettes with all of their launches, and I don't necessarily, I don't know, I don't hate quads, but for this, I just feel like this was an odd choice. I would have much rather seen something more inspired by the game itself than the characters. I mean, this is all personal preference, but I just feel like these quads come off looking just a little bit cheap and a little bit juvenile. If they wanted to do things based around the characters, I would have almost rather seen like a 9-pan palette rather than just this little quad. I don't know, it just feels very juvenile to me. Kind of the same thing with the chubby lip crayons. Just their lip tints, and for some reason this packaging just makes me think of like play makeup that I had when I was like 10 or 11. So I don't know, I just feel like it's a huge miss for me. I did say on my Instagram that I was going to create a little like what the Animal Crossing palette should have looked like singles palette with my single shadows, and I don't think I'm going to do a video on that anymore because I just feel like the time has passed, but maybe I'll do that over on my Instagram. I just feel like when I think of Animal Crossing, I would have loved to see something inspired more by the island and like those like soft, calm, peaceful tones. This was just not what I envisioned. And finally, we have the Blueprint collection from Nomad Cosmetics. I don't know, I don't really understand why Melt is releasing all of their stacks and palettes now, because I don't think there's really anything different about this palette compared to like when it was part of the stack. If it would be one thing if they like took those shadows, revamped them, made them a little extra special, and then maybe put it in a palette, but even at that, I don't know, I just feel like it's a little boring. It's kind of a waste of time, and it just really did not appeal to me. Alright you guys, let's get on to some releases that I was more excited about. The first one was the Stay Vulnerable collection by Rare Beauty. I received a little itty bitty Rare Beauty mini set for Christmas, so I'm working through those products right now, and I'm really excited to finally test out the brand. And I was really intrigued by this launch. It's nothing that I'm purchasing right now because I'm on a no buy and just because I feel like I'm probably good on these categories of products. But they launched some like cream blushes in a compact. They launched some cream eyeshadows. I believe they're supposed to be like kind of like the Glossier Sky Washes, but matte and just maybe a little bit more pigmented. And then they also released lip glosses. I think this was a really smart launch on their behalf. All of these products really fall into A, the monochrome trend, and B, the really like minimal makeup trend. And I think that's just going to continue and get bigger in 2021. And I just think it was a smart launch. I'm also holding off on purchasing these because I'm crossing my fingers that they're going to come out with mini sets once again. I think that was just a brilliant move on their behalf to launch mini sets so soon after launching their brand with the last group of products that they launched. So I'm kind of expecting the same thing to happen with this one. So I'm just kind of like biding my time and waiting to see when those minis come up. If I were to purchase anything from the collection, if I could only purchase one thing, I'm really intrigued by the liquid shadows. I don't know why, but I've always been intrigued by a matte cream or liquid shadow. In theory, it always sounds wonderful and perfect and like super easy to use, super convenient. In practice, I find that they hardly are, but I've heard really good things about these shadows, and so I'm kind of hopeful. Next up, we have a mini set from Fenty Beauty, and this is the Low Gloss Bombs Duo. I've been waiting. If you guys have been on my channel, I've talked about this many times. I need to try the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb formula. I don't know why. I've had so many people tell me like it's fantastic, or like it's just okay, it's not going to change your life, or some people even hate it. But ever since it launched, there's been this little voice in the back of my head that's like, Sydney, you need to try it, and I cannot get it out of my head. So I've really just been waiting for them to come out with a mini set that really either contains more Fenty products that I want to try, or like more gloss bomb shades that I want to try. and I feel like this might be my set. So this retails for $24 and it comes with 2 little mini gloss bombs. It comes in the original Fenty Glow, which is a rosy nude. Beautiful, definitely a shade that I would reach for on an everyday basis, and Pink Dragonfly, which is described as a pink coral with gold shimmer. Also a shade that I feel like I would probably get a lot of use out of. The keychain holder is kind of gimmicky to me. I could really take it or leave it, but these shades in particular are really in line with a lot of the lip products that I use, so I would really like to grab this. I'm not planning on grabbing it anytime soon, maybe in the next Sephora sale, but I think it's really cute, and again, a really smart release on Fenty's part. Okay guys, next up we have the Nomad Cosmetics Iceland Fire and Ice palette. So I have tried Nomad Cosmetics formula over the past year or so, and they have a very easy to work with formula. It's pigmented, but it's not so pigmented to where you have to be afraid to stick your finger or your brush into the shadows and you'll get like an unblendable patch. That's not really their jam. Their shimmers are, they have like 2 different kinds of shimmers. They have like a very foiled, very glittery shimmer, and then they just have like your straight up metallic, which I find to be a little bit softer in their formula in particular. And with a lot of the palettes that they've released this year, the way that they launch them is they do like a guessing game for the location, and sometimes they showcase like 1 or 2 shades in the palette within those little like posts on Instagram. And I feel like for so long everyone has been asking them to come out with like an ultra colorful palette, and I feel like the Fire and Ice palette really answered that call. And when I saw this palette, when I saw the sneak peeks, I was head over heels for it. I thought it was so pretty, and then when it was revealed I was like, well, do I really need this one? It's just like, it's pretty, but I don't know if it's it for me. And so I decided to grab my single shadows and create my own little dupe palette. I'll link that video down below, so if you guys are interested in that palette, or if you need a little pep talk to convince yourself that you probably don't need this palette either, it's there for you. But so I created my own little version of the Fire and Ice palette, and you guys, I had so much fun with this color story. It was so fun to work with these tones. These blues and greens are right up my alley for this time of year, and I just thought it was such a fun color story to work with. It's not really one that if you're like a makeup beginner, I would really recommend unless you feel really comfortable playing with color. I feel like it's definitely more of an intermediate color story to work with, but it is so much fun. Next up we have a collab palette from Kaleidos Makeup. You guys know I could not include this palette. This is the Club Nebula palette from Kaleidos Makeup and Angelica. This palette is so pretty, you guys. I did another Shop My Stash or Dupes video on this palette, so I'll link that down below. But I just think this is so pretty, you guys. I've been kind of biding my time with Kaleidos Makeup. Well, A, their cruelty-free status was kind of in question, and B, I just was kind of waiting for a palette that just like screamed my name that I couldn't say no to, and I feel like this palette might be it. I didn't purchase it on launch day because I'm on kind of an unofficial no buy, but I just love this color story so much. I think it's gorgeous. I love the packaging. I'm just really into it, and I think this was a really cool addition to Kaleido's line. I know some people had some concerns about how similar it was to some of their other palettes, but I feel like it's just a really unique color story that really stands on its own. So really excited about this one. Definitely one I'm heavily considering purchasing down the line. Okay, you guys, and the final launch that I wanted to talk about is the launch of a new brand, and it's actually launching today when I'm filming this video. This is the Glow by Auric line that Samantha created, Samantha Ravendal. I was gonna call her Samantha Marshall, so I was like, close but not quite. But her line launched today, and I have been watching so many review videos of it from the past like week and a half, and I think everything is gorgeous. I haven't purchased anything yet, but I can definitely see myself purchasing it down the line. I really love that she decided to launch with a liquid illuminator that comes in so many shades. I feel like this is a huge selling point for the brand. It's very diverse. And I also really loved how in her launch video, as well as some of the other promotional work that's on her social media pages for this brand, how incredibly diverse the models are. There's people of all skin tones, of all genders. It's something that's really cool to see, and I feel like this came at the perfect time because I can't remember if I saw it in like a tweet or a meme or something, but someone was like, now that Charlotte Tilbury is no longer considered cruelty free, we have Auric to come in and save the day, or something like that. And I just feel like that kind of perfectly sums up this brand, and that's kind of what Samantha said in her video. It's the new luxury that's more inclusive, and I'm really into her first products. I feel like at this point I'm just kind of at that grabby stage where I'm like, I'll just grab like everything. Really want to try the liquid illuminator. The past couple months I've really been contemplating trying the Charlotte Tilbury one, but since they're no longer cruelty free, I'm not even gonna bother. I'd rather just save my money and get this one. And I'm actually really intrigued by their cream shadows. I feel like I could get sucked into the cream shadow trap where I'm like, oh, it'll be so convenient and so seamless, but I really like the concept of these ones. The bottom of the little component has a true cream shadow in it. I don't know if it's like super metallic or if it's more of a satin. I've seen lots of people kind of just like slap it all over the lid, blend it into the crease a little bit, and then pop the topper over top, and it doesn't look like it's just like pure shine on the eyes. So I'm really intrigued by that, and I really love the shades that she chose. And then on the top portion, there's more of a sparkly topper shadow, which you guys know. I feel like sparkly topper shadow is like a buzzword for me right now. Every time someone says it, I'm like, ooh, like that's pretty, I need it, what is it? And I just think they're really cool products, and I'm really excited for Sam. It's just exciting, and I want to chat about it with you guys. But I think that's actually going to wrap today's video up. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know if you enjoy this kind of style of talking about new releases. As I said, I'm kind of also considering just resuming the Will I Buy It's, just doing them every other week instead of every week. But I would love some feedback from you guys. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!